The phase following spiritual awakening can truly feel like an avalanche in the life of those who go through this experience. After awakening, many people begin a process of transition that radically transforms their lives and their way of seeing the world. It is as if a new path is laid out before them, and suddenly, many things that used to make sense simply no longer matter. Your perspectives change, as do the old beliefs, habits, and practices that were once pillars of your existence, now seem purposeless. This transformation is almost inevitable, and occurs naturally and gradually, as things align with your new way of being and living. This transition is not easy, as it requires courage to let go of what is familiar and make room for the unknown. It is normal to feel lost or even confused during this period, but it is important to remember that this phase is necessary for your spiritual growth. As these old patterns are left behind, new concepts emerge, more aligned with the person you are becoming. This process can be challenging, but it is also liberating, as you begin to live a more authentic and conscious life. During this phase, it is essential to practice self-compassion and accept that each step is important, because even if it is sometimes painful, it will bring you immeasurable benefits. Many things change, and what once seemed to be an integral part of your identity may begin to seem strange, as if you belong to someone else. And that's okay, that's just how it is. It is at this moment that the connection with your intuition strengthens, guiding each decision you make, whether big or small. And, little by little, it becomes clearer to you that the true meaning of life is to live in harmony with yourself and with everyone you interact with. The important thing is not to be afraid to allow yourself to change and keep moving forward. See this process as an opportunity for rebirth, where you can recreate your life according to your new awareness. By doing so, you not only transform yourself, but you also begin to positively impact the lives of the people you live with and even the lives of strangers. After all, once you open yourself up to new things, your entire environment changes along with you. As you continue with this transformation, it is natural that the relationships in your life will also undergo changes. Some old connections may weaken or even break, as not everyone will be on the same wavelength. Understand that the important thing is to understand that these changes in your relationships are part of your growth process. New people, with interests and views aligned with your new perspective, will begin to appear in your life, bringing a sense of renewal and support. This cycle of renewal is essential for you to continue evolving and surrounding yourself with energies from people who are on the same wavelength as you. Another important aspect of this phase is the emergence of a growing desire for self-knowledge. You begin to question yourself more deeply, seeking to understand your motivations, fears, and desires on a higher level. This search for answers may lead you to explore different spiritual practices, books, courses, or even to spend more time in introspection and meditation. It is a phase in which you become more aware of the power you have over your own life, and how each choice can impact your spiritual path and your future. Over time, you realize that what once seemed like an insurmountable challenge is now seen as a learning opportunity. Each obstacle becomes a chance to grow even more, to get closer and closer to your true essence. Resilience and patience become powerful allies, as you understand that the spiritual path is not linear. There are ups and downs, moments of clarity and moments of doubt, but it is all part of the process of building a life that is more in line with your purpose. It is important to remember that the spiritual journey is unique to each person. There is no exact script to follow, nor a final destination to reach. What really matters is the authenticity with which you walk this path, the way you allow yourself to be guided by intuition and your heart. By facing this new phase with openness and trust, you begin to live more fully, connecting with the universe and discovering new dimensions of your own existence. And, in the end, you realize that this journey is the greatest adventure of your life. Many people spend their lives seeking to achieve spiritual maturity, trying to better understand themselves, find their mission, and connect with the divine. This path involves realizing the habits and behaviors that can help or hinder this growth. Those who truly commit themselves gradually realize that they need to leave behind everything that no longer makes sense. And this does not happen all at once, but rather gradually, with a lot of reflection and conscious attitudes. People who are spiritually awakened tend to maintain their authenticity, regardless of the environment they are in or the people around them. They let their true selves shine through in every situation, demonstrating honesty and originality, which, unfortunately, are increasingly rare these days. This authenticity not only inspires, but also attracts other people, those who value what is genuine, who are not tied to status, appearance, or the need to accumulate material goods. With spiritual awakening, you will naturally begin to distance yourself from people who prioritize everything that is superficial. Those who are frivolous, who are more focused on material things, who want to present a perfect image, or who are more concerned with maintaining a facade, will no longer have space in your life. Instead, you will be attracted to people who are more in tune with you, who share this search for authenticity and truth. This not only strengthens your personal connections, but also creates an environment of mutual growth, where everyone supports and understands each other. Another thing that can happen is that after awakening, many people can no longer stay in romantic relationships that are toxic. These relationships drain energy and are often characterized by negativity, manipulation, and lack of respect. Living with someone who is critical, controlling, and emotionally abusive causes exhaustion, anxiety, and unhappiness, making it almost impossible to live with people with these characteristics. People like this do not respect boundaries and prevent their partner from doing anything to grow, develop, and especially achieve inner peace. Those who feel the need and desire to evolve spiritually are aware and understand that staying in a toxic relationship can prevent them from advancing in their growth process. It is necessary to find the strength to recognize when a relationship is harmful and take the necessary measures to protect their well-being. A situation in which someone is trapped in their own emotions makes it difficult to see things clearly. Establishing respect and imposing boundaries is essential to dealing with this type of relationship. In addition, as you move away from what no longer resonates with you, you will notice a growing lightness, as if you were releasing weights that you did not even know you were carrying, making room for new experiences and a more loyal connection to your true essence. The expectations that once held you back will gradually diminish, and you will feel freer to live according to your own beliefs. This freedom, this authenticity, is what will dictate the rules of how your life will be, giving you an indescribable feeling of well-being and happiness. It is as if, by freeing yourself from the bonds of the material world, you are getting closer and closer to what really matters and makes sense to you. This feeling of lightness brings with it mental and emotional clarity, where you begin to make decisions with more wisdom, confidence, and security. The worries and anxieties that previously occupied your mind will give way to a genuine feeling of peace and tranquility, and this is essential to living life to the fullest. After all, this is what we all seek, a more balanced life, where we can face difficulties and obstacles calmly, without being shaken by constant ups and downs. The search for balance requires resilience and self-knowledge. To withstand adversity, we need to develop the ability to adapt to situations that we cannot control and learn to recognize and manage the sources that cause us stress. This allows us to remain calm and see the lessons and teachings that are hidden behind these events so that we can continue living with serenity. By cultivating self-knowledge, we can identify our own limits and define priorities that help us focus on what really matters. It is also essential to practice patience and self-care. In this way, the path to serenity becomes not just a goal, but a daily practice that leads us to where we want to go. There is something especially beautiful about a person who does not feel the need to always put themselves on a pedestal, as they radiate humility, security, and self-confidence, making others perceive their true essence, without masks or pretensions. This authenticity is inspiring and creates genuine relationships with people, since there is no competition or need for constant validation. On the contrary, there is a calmness that comes from knowing who they are and not needing to prove anything to anyone. These people leave a positive impact simply by being who they are, without needing external recognition. They allow others to feel comfortable being authentic too, creating an environment of acceptance, non-judgment, and mutual respect. After all, when there is no need to impress and always be in the spotlight, there is more space to truly connect and maintain healthy relationships. We, as human beings, often have the tendency to want to imitate others. Instead of accepting and loving who we really are, we seek to mold ourselves according to other people's image. This behavior creates a cycle of superficiality, where we lose touch with our true essence in an attempt to fit in or attract other people's attention. It is as if we were part of a directionless crowd, simply going with the flow without questioning anything and without any purpose. On the other hand, people who have a high level of self-awareness act differently. They don't follow the crowd, they stay true to themselves, and they find joy in their authenticity. These people live with a deep sense of self-awareness and originality that sets them apart from the rest. They respect and prioritize their own individuality without becoming rude or arrogant. In fact, they accept others' imperfections just as much as they accept their own. One of the problems most people have is that when things don't go their way, they often blame others for it. The reasons can vary. It could be circumstances, someone else's actions, or simply bad luck. This is where the feeling of guilt starts to take shape. Spiritually awakened people don't blame anyone else for their problems or for things that don't go right in their lives. Instead, they deal with their discomfort in a balanced way, without pointing fingers or making unfounded judgments. People who have already awakened use their conflicting feelings as a tool to identify their unconscious emotions. They dig deep within themselves to find the root cause of their emotions, rather than getting caught up in external circumstances. They understand that life is inherently challenging, that problems exist, and that our emotions and feelings fluctuate all the time. Instead of avoiding these feelings or blaming others for them, they know that life is just the way it is, and that emotions are not problems to be fixed, but opportunities for growth and maturity. The way they take full responsibility for their actions and feelings is extraordinary. The downside of all this transformation is that, at times, things can get out of hand. People close to you and even the society in which you live may think that you are losing your mind, that you are going crazy, unbalanced, or depressed, since the changes in you are evident and unquestionable. For many, you are becoming a problem because you are acting out of character, in strange and unexpected ways. Few will support you. A lack of understanding about what you are going through can lead to misjudgments and even breakups and separations. Those who do not understand the depth of your awakening will judge you, because you have definitely discovered a truth and have come to see life in a way that others cannot. This isolation can sometimes be painful, and it is a test of endurance and confidence that you have to go through. You may feel lonely, but over time, you will meet new people, and little by little your family and people you live with will get used to and respect the person you have become. Before awakening, it is common for criticism or negative attitudes from other people to affect us deeply. We are easily hurt and feel offended, especially when the criticism is directed at us. The truth is that, in general, we do not like to be criticized, even if the intentions are constructive. This happens because we often have the tendency to take everything personally, since we were not taught to deal with these situations in a more balanced way. This reaction of taking things as a personal offense usually arises from our own insecurities and mistakes. More often than not, we react based on our past experiences, emotions, and perceptions, without stopping to consider that what someone says negatively to us may reflect much more about them and their emotional state than it does about us. When we recognize this, we can begin to let go of the need to take everything personally, which is an essential step toward living a more sensible life. Developing this ability to not take everything as an offense is actually an attitude of emotional intelligence that we must adopt. When we stop allowing the words or actions of others to control our emotions, we gain power over our own reactions. This change in perspective frees us from the unnecessary weight we carry around trying to please everyone or worrying about what others think. Furthermore, when we understand that other people's behavior is a reflection of themselves, and not necessarily of who we are, we can cultivate greater inner peace and strengthen our emotional self-control. This gives us the freedom to focus on what really matters and move forward more lightly, without carrying burdens that do not belong to us. But know that, in the midst of all this, there is one unshakable truth: nothing can disturb your peace if you are deeply anchored in your convictions. People who are highly aware of their authentic reality do not allow themselves to be shaken or influenced in any way by the opinions of others. There is now an inner strength, a deep sense of self-confidence and peace that protects you from any external negativity. You know who you have become, and that is enough. Awakened people understand that what has to go, or be left behind, will be done, regardless of anything, because it is part of the process. They calmly accept that not everyone will follow the same path and that, sometimes, it is necessary to let go of certain relationships or situations in order to continue growing and advancing in their lives. Awakened people understand that the cycle of life is made up of constant change and that there is no point in resisting what needs to be left behind. This understanding brings an inner serenity, as they realize that each goodbye, each ending, is just the beginning of a new chapter. There is no resentment or attachment to the past. Instead, there is gratitude for the lessons learned and the confidence that what lies ahead will be a new life, with more achievements and peace of mind. This natural acceptance of the flow of life means that they do not feel guilty or anxious about moving forward, even if it means making difficult decisions. They understand that everyone has their own pace and journey, and that respecting this is essential for their own well-being. At the same time, this attitude of acceptance and detachment also makes them more compassionate and understanding of others. They do not judge those who choose to follow a different path or who are not yet ready for certain changes. After awakening, you also realize that there is no longer any need to try to maintain control over everything and no effort to manage certain situations and aspects of life. You simply relax and let things happen, because you know that these attitudes only trigger stress and frustration. There is now awareness and trust in the process of life. You are understanding that some things are beyond your influence and that certain situations are perfectly normal. Letting go of control simplifies your life, frees you from the burden of rigidity and constant worry, and allows you to live more lightly in the present moment. Awakening completely changes your perspective on life, even leading you to stop labeling things as good or bad. Everything becomes simply life. There is no division between good or bad. There is just life happening, continuously. Existence is a form of superintelligence, which is far beyond the limited and critical capacity of our minds. This perception helps you to see each experience as part of a whole, without the need to assign a positive or negative label to it. When we stop creating expectations, we begin to accept life as it is, and this pure acceptance comes when we enter a state of flow and appreciation for the true nature of things. Labeling experiences limits our understanding, and resisting or clinging to specific outcomes paralyzes us and prevents us from moving forward. Moving forward without the burden of expectations creates a sense of peace and contentment. It allows you to open up and fully engage with life, appreciating each moment for what it is. This acceptance does not mean passivity or lack of ambition, but rather recognizing the inherent value in each experience and trusting that nothing should be taken personally. Live life mindfully. If you only practice mindful living a few days a year, you risk stagnation and may end up blaming others for your failure or lack of progress. Your real growth happens in moments when you are present in the here and now. Try to maintain situations where you feel calm and comfortable, create opportunities to practice, and reinforce the lessons learned during difficult times. For spirituality, there is no growth without the demonstration of small, consistent, and lasting efforts. It is these small steps, taken every day, that build a solid foundation for your spiritual evolution. Self-realization is your birthright and no one can take it away from you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive our new content about spirituality. See you soon. May God bless your life.